Welcome
to
Emod
and Phillips
Biolab World with Mr. Dr. Professor
Sam
Pavan
and Pavan.
and Sam.
Mrs. Dr. Professor Sam.
Mr. Dr. Professor Sam and or Pavan, please explain the tests that you did.
So, what we did is we placed a solution of sucrose and sodium sulfate into a dialysis tube, and then placed it into a solution of a beaker full of egg albumin for 60 minutes. Then, we, in these 4 test tubes, placed the solution of the albumin after the hour. These 4 test tubes. And in these 4 test tubes, placed the solution of the stuff inside. And then stuff inside the dialysis tube. And then we did a test for starch, a test for sulfate, a test for chloride, and a test for protein on each test.
That's not protein. What is it? That's protein. Wow.
So first, the test for starch. The test for starch. This was a more correct version that we read it. As you can see, on the outside, on the beaker, there was a significant amount of protein.
Okay, talk about it.
Yeah, so in this one, as you can see, there's a negative Lugol's test. There's no starch. And in this one, it's a positive Lugol's test. There is starch. 1 through 4 was the beaker, right?
What?
1 through 4 was the beaker, right?
1 through 4 is the
Yeah. This is so. There was no protein in the beaker, and there was protein inside the test tube, and inside the what's it called?
The bag.
The bag. Then, as you can see, this is a test for sulfate. And there was clearly no sulfate in the
No sulfate?
sulfate.
Sulfate. Notice
No
the
sulfate in
precipitate?
the beaker, or rather very little sulfate in the beaker, and there's definitely sulfate in the bag.
Notice the precipitate there. That's the sulfate, correct?
That's barium sulfate.
And no sulfate there, there's no precipitate.
Likewise, with the chloride ions, there are no chloride ions,
No chloride?
and there's definitely chloride ions in the bag. However, for the protein, there that is the one for the beaker, and there is a lot of protein there. That's a positive test. However, for the bag, that's a negative test, and there's no protein.
Take care, alright?
Yep, that's it.
Have a nice day.